All right, before the protest in Minnesota, there was fraud. But while it may have been the first state, it's becoming increasingly clear that it won't be the last. Yesterday, the DOJ announced 2 Brooklyn scammers pleaded guilty to defrauding a whopping $68 million from New York's Medicaid home care program. How'd they pull that off? By paying health care kickbacks for services they just straight up didn't provide. But not to be outdone, Minnesota is still making headlines too. On Wednesday, a Minneapolis man was charged with more than $3 million in Medicaid fraud tied to a state-licensed home health agency. Now, all of this is prompting Deputy HHS Secretary Jim O'Neill and CMS Administrator Dr. Oz to take a look for themselves in Minnesota. Deputy HHS Secretary Jim O'Neill joins me now. Secretary, thanks for being with us here today. I've seen the reports that you and Dr. Oz visited a few of these locations, perhaps some of the same locations visited by Nick Shirley, and you received somewhat of a similar treatment.
That's correct. We've been fighting fraud in Minnesota for a while, and we went to see for ourselves. So on Wednesday, we visited a dilapidated old cannery that supposedly has housed 383 separate Medicaid providers since the Walz administration started. We're very skeptical. So we drove up, we got out of our cars. We knew we were going to be allowed in the building. We were just standing on the sidewalk. We saw a lot of people loitering around, no kids, by the way. And a woman in a fancy car spotted us, gave us an unfriendly gesture, honked her horn angrily, and actually followed us for about 10 minutes.
So fascinating. Such an interesting response. Did you get the sense that the people that you got that hostile treatment from were regular Minnesotans uninvolved in a potential fraud, or were they people insecure about an investigation into their own actions?
It definitely seemed like people did not want curiosity, did not want people looking at what was going on. People didn't want anyone, driving by and who looked like they were from outside the community. That was the vibe, if I had to guess, yeah.
What's interesting about that is you would hope that regular, everyday Minnesotans, innocent Minnesotans, would want you there, would want HHS looking into potential fraud of their tax dollars. And you would think that would be the same thing across the nation, whether or not it's Minnesota or Brooklyn or California.
I'm sure there are lots of Minnesotans that really hate fraud. My sense is there's a political machine, like an old school, urban political machine that has controlled Minnesota for a while. I think the Somali voting bloc is part of it. I think the DFL, Tim Walz, is part of it. I think, frankly, overlooking fraud, turning a blind eye, ignoring it is part of the thing that keeps this coalition together. But there are plenty of, hardworking, tax-paying Minnesotans who hate the fraud, don't like the coalition, and we're on their side. We are committed to stopping the fraud.
Tammany Hall of Minnesota. Secretary O'Neill, we hope you and wish you luck in finding fraud. Thank you.